Good evening once again. Another segment from Washington Field 6th Ward Preparedness Committee. I'm Marilyn Wallet, and Sister Julene Shelley is here manning. There she is, waving. And we appreciate her good help. We're going to talk today a little bit about wheat, and I'm going to tell you why white bread is just dandy. There will be people that will argue with that, but actually, most of us are very healthy using enriched white products, white flour products. But I want to start out having you look at this little diagram of what a grain consists of. Grain comes with an outer layer called the bran. Then it surrounds the endosperm, which contains most of the carbohydrate in the grain, along with some vitamins and minerals. And then the germ is the part that contains the oily substances, vitamins, and minerals that provide some of the great nutrition from the wheat. Each little grain of wheat comes with a shell around it. And I was shocked when I found out how early they learned to thresh grain. It was in the day that the thresher was pulled by 8 horses. And so it was long before the time of mechanism, but some brilliant man came up with a thresher. And as the wheat is cut down, the straw is separated out, and then the little grains of wheat are in what's called chaff. And this is a whole kernel. The wheat comes right off the plant like that. And you have to separate the chaff, which is a fibrous thing that we don't want in our wheat unless we really need the roughage. And somehow this threshing machine gets all the chaff off of the wheat kernels. And it's very interesting. You may not have seen it, but the chaff goes flying off one way and the grain goes into the truck on the other side. If you had a truck back then, I guess it went in a wagon. So fortunately, we're not minnowing our wheat by throwing it in the air so the chaff will fly away with the wind. We're very fortunate to have a great supply of this wonderful grain, along with other grains today in our lives. Now, a lot of people will tell you that the whole wheat products are the very best, and that's great. I love them for flavor, for the extra fiber. And we're going to talk now a little bit when wheat is made into whole wheat flour, which this is right out of my wheat grinder. It's just a wee bit gritty because it has the bran. And here I'm going to shake out a little bran for you to see. This is the outer portion of the wheat, and it provides much of the fiber. And that's the outer portion that is separated from the wheat and processing. Then you can also purchase wheat germ. And it looks much the same. It feels almost a little oily. Try it, Julene. It feels just, you can tell it's, a little oily. And I keep these in my freezer anyway, and occasionally add it to muffins or something. It's also like, you can add this like to your Crusties pancake mix if you like. Bisquick, whatever you use. And I also like to add a little bit of the whole grain flour sometimes, or ground, some other ground grain, just for a little variety, little cornmeal or something. Okay, so over the years, the very most original wheat is farro, F-A-R-R-O. It's an ancient grain and was the origin of our wheat, apparently. And you can still purchase that today. It's still grown. But over the years, they have been able to go from red wheat, which is a bit darker, is all. And they have modified it into white wheat. I don't know, Julene, can you show the difference in those color-wise? I don't know if it's probably not showing up. This is just lighter looking, and this is a little darker bran outer covering. Now, it is not genetically modified. White wheat has been produced just by the breeding process. Like they'll take the whitest wheat and combine it with the whitest kernels from another batch. It's just like, I guess, getting your roses the right color that you want. And so it's not technically genetically modified. There are a few people that will argue that, but they have not fooled with the genes in the wheat so far. Anyway, white wheat, when you get any product labeled whole wheat, it's white wheat. You can be pretty sure. The flavor's a little different. White wheat is milder flavored. The red wheat, they're both hard winter wheat, and they have high protein content up to 15%. Again, that's the gluten. And the higher the gluten content and the lower the moisture, the better the wheat. And it is a miraculous product that will keep for hundreds of years properly stored. So this happens to be 1979 red wheat. I still use it. Sometimes I get my wheat grinder and I use half and half, and other times I might just say, hey, I'll just do white wheat. And it's not exclusive in our household. The reason being, the regular old good all-purpose flour right here that you buy in your bags at the market, it has, because the processing to get it this color, and they've taken all the germ and all of the bran off of it. This has been processed and some of the nutrients are destroyed in that. So enriched white flour has 4 things added back to it that make it, in my book, a great product. Enriched white white flours, pardon me, has niacin added back in. It has folic acid, which is one very important thing. That's important in prenatal nutrition for moms to get plenty of folic acid. Riboflavin, another of the B vitamins. Niacin's also a B vitamin. And then the other element that will sound familiar to you is the iron, is added back. So enriched white flour is not a bad deal to me. And it keeps us all pretty darn healthy, right?
Good to know.
Yeah. And because of the milder flavor, most everything, in fact, I'm seeing some recipes on the internet that specify white wheat flour or white wheat flour as opposed to some other. You can also purchase at the store your whole wheat flour and use it. I happen to be lucky and have a wheat grinder, and I grind my wheat, and then I either stick it in the freezer or the fridge, and that preserves some of the vitamins that might be destroyed or deteriorate at room temperature. Things that are frozen really don't change much in their nutritional value. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you. Then that white bread's just fine. If you like it better, go for it. And we can always add things back in if we want, like the bran, if you would want, or the wheat germ, which I seldom do, but you can do that. And you can do recipes half and half with your enriched white flour and your wheat flour if you wish. I like to sometimes throw a little of the wheat in, like I say, with the white pancakes. In fact, I make a wonderful homemade pancake mix that I love. My great grandkids and grandkids love it. And I use that could be another segment, but I use the powdered buttermilk in it, the salt, soda, baking powder, and sugar. And it's all ready to go. And I keep that in the freezer or the fridge and makes wonderful pancakes. So it's easy to incorporate some of your whole wheat into your cooking if you choose to do so. And that's about all. Do you have any questions, Julie? Okay. Yeah, I think white stuff's just dandy. And the fiber's better in the whole wheat products. They haven't taken the bran away. So thank you. And join us again for another segment.